Carloina Bourbon Whiskey. Moonshine Life Group. By J.B. Wagonmaker. But first, a few words about bourbon whiskey. Bourbon must be made of a grain mixture that is at least 51% corn. Bourbon must be distilled to no more than 160 U.S. proof and 0% alcohol by volume. Neither coloring nor flavoring may be added. Bourbon must be aged in new, charred oak barrels. Bourbon must be entered into the barrel at no more than 125 proof, 62.5% alcohol by volume. Bourbon, like other whiskies, may not be bottled at less than and 0 proof, 40% alcohol by volume. Bourbon which meets the above requirements and has been aged for a minimum of 2 years, may, but is not required. 2. Be called straight bourbon. Straight bourbon aged for a period less than 4 years must be labeled with the duration of 1 TS aging. If an age is stated on the label, it must be the age of the youngest whiskey in the bottle. Only whiskey produced in the United States can be called bourbon. In practice, almost all bourbons marketed today are made from more than 2/3 corn, have been aged at least 4 years, and do qualify as straight bourbon with or without the straight bourbon label. The exceptions are inexpensive commodity brands of bourbon aged only 3 years and pre-mixed cocktails made with straight bourbon aged the minimum 2 years. However, a few small distillers market bourbons aged for as little as 3 months. This might be you. Carloina Burbon and its fine tastin'. 5 to 6 gallon washereld. I start with 7 pounds of cracked corn and cook in 4 gallons of good water for at least an hour. One usually go 10 minutes, at low simmer. Careful not to burn 1 ton. Optional, you may add a half pound of 6-row malted barley while cooking the corn to loosen it up a bit. This is called pre-mashing, as it gets very thick. Then cool to exactly 150 F. Pour into a large cooler, helps conserve heat during the mashing session. Add 3 pounds of 6-row malted barley. The temp should drop to approximate 145. Stir well every 15 minutes, while you mash for 2 to 3 hours. Keep covered. Note: don't add malted barley to the corn if it exceeds 155 F. The enzymes will be denatured in short order and you won't get no conversion. The mashing process requires that you keep the mash at 145 F plus or minus 5 F for the entire duration of the mash session, which 15 while you use the insulated cooler. Optional. You want, you can add a LL Beano, will look the other way, for additional conversion, and let it continue to mash overnight. At the end of the mash, cool to oven and transfer to fermenter, grain and all. Top up to 6 to 7 gallons total volume. Aerate well and pitch yeast, Prestige WD or your favorite yeast. Ferment for a week on grain. After fermentation once complete, strain out grain and transfer wash to boiler. No need to let the wash clear. Note: I'll use a 5-gallon nylon paint strainer bag to separate the grain from the wash. I oaked it 60% with 2 PCS of my own new charred white oak sticks for 6 months in a glass jar. Once again, will look the other way if you don't have a barrel. As long as you're using new charred white oak, I think you can call 1 ton 3-hour bond. Once your aging/oaking is complete, dilute down to 45% and bottle. Enjoy. Moonshine Life Group.